Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Ha Rekakwadash Mama. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and the elders. Double honors to my elders as well, Aharawan Banyasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp here in Jacksonville, Florida. And salutations to the fellow Akim, Atwafim, and children that believe in truth and sincerity. It's your brother Atanyala. Back to you with another lesson. And Yahara Tazah is edifying. And I just wanted to touch this little quick topic of Trump on Joe Rogan's podcast, all right, as they hint at the UFOs, all right, as Trump clearly states people, all right, the people that's coming from another realm, all right, the fourth dimension, all right, quote unquote, what they call space, right? And it says, one of the things that stood out to me that he said towards the end was that, you got to be special, all right? And he was referring to these fighter jets being flown and, these people who fly these jets and how you got to be in shape to fly them, all right? And I just took it in the spiritual aspect of how you got to be special to get in one of Yahweh's chariots, man, all right? These emergency vehicles of the Lord, man, of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, all right, or what the government calls a UFO, all right, or UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena, all right. We know what they are according to the scriptures: a cherub, a chariot, all right, an emergency vehicle of the Heavenly Father, all right, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and that's the elect's way out of this destruction. All right, because nobody's going to make it out of nuclear destruction, a nuclear storm dust cloud, all right, where the Lord is going to sweep this place with the besom of destruction. All right, nobody's going to survive that unless you're beamed up into a chariot. All right, but we'll get straight into it.
So I opened them up partially. I was met with from good people. I mean, good people. People that were well-meaning. Mike Pompeo was one of them. He's a good person. They called me. They said, "Sir, would rather have you not." And I did open them.
And right now he's talking about opening undisclosed files from like the JFK, or disclosed files from the JFK incident, or just JFK files in general, which we know JFK was a president that was assassinated. All right, it's assassination talks when it comes to around Trump's name. It's already been a quote unquote attempts, whether they're fake or not. This is a possible agenda of the elites. So he's a controversial president, as we know. He's a controversial person, all right, Edomite, to where he ruffles feathers in-house, so to speak, amongst his people. So disclosing information from JFK and things like that could expose a lot, all right, just as well as exposing what's going on as far as these UAPs, these aerial phenomenons, and what the government know as, divine intervention ultimately, all right, from the fourth dimension, to where they're trying to pose it as something else towards the people, all right, to with their oppositions of science, that's falsely so-called, telling you that there were aliens and so on and so forth. One of the scriptures I want to start off with is the book of Psalms, chapter 64 and verse 6. They search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep, right? They're deep in doing wickedness and pushing forth wickedness and bringing forth lies, right? So they know how to hide the truth ultimately, all right? So it says what? They search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search, so they know wickedness to a T. They're the creator and the father of it. So much so that, through his wisdom, he gotten riches in his treasures, man. Roughly paraphrasing. Riches gotten by deceit through his lies and his demonocracy. This is verse 7. But Yahweh shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded, right? Due to their pride, their cities is troubled. Their pride got them off guard, hoodwinked, bamboozled to what the Lord's getting ready to do, and that's put them at the low, all right? Put them at the lowest degree that there is, all right? Their desire, their depths is hell. So that's what ultimately what the Lord is bringing upon them, a hellish condition, all right? By way of these nations. This is verse 8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. And that's the point. Making their own tongue to fall upon themselves. Again, Babylon, the land of confusion, the city of confusion. All right, to where this place is divided. All right, and you have controversy after controversy. More controversy. And a guy like Trump, Esau, Edom. All right. He's making his tongue fall upon themselves, man, going against the grain, unveiling different type of secrets in politics and stuff like that to where it can become dangerous for him as well. And just speaking about the UFOs alone, all right, which the government had called, meetings, congressional hearings for people to bring forth what they were hiding and put up on the back burner, to Congress, all right, pertaining to the UFOs. And Joe Rogan interviewed a few of them. He's going to mention it.
But I was asked by some people not to open them. There's a Martin Luther King file, too, by the way, that they'd like to see. I don't know if you know, but there is that. But
yeah, JFK and Martin Luther King, right? For those jakes who even care about Martin, everybody know Martin Luther King was assassinated. But this is the controversy that he tries to stir up. Again, that civil unrest type, energy, all right? That black versus white, these social constructs that they ultimately created, all right? Because nobody's black and nobody's white here on the planet Earth. What nation are you? Those are two colors out of the crayon box, all right? Ultimately calling the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who might go up under that stigma, black or Latino, as wicked. Black meaning void, dark, without light, right? That's the culture that they ultimately gave Jake, through slavery, through hip-hop, so on and so forth. And white being that they're pure or innocent or clean, righteous, all right? When they're not white, they're actually red, lacking pigmentation because their blood shows transparent through their skin. All right, they're clean leopards, as Esau. All right, their forefathers, Esau, was a clean leopard. All right, the first of in the scriptures mentioned. All right. So again, they play on that,
JFK in particular. So they call me, a lot of good people call me, people that that you would find reasonable people. And they asked me not to do it. So I said, well, we'll close it for another time. But if I win, I'm going to open them up. I'm just going to open enough.
Why didn't you open it up the first time, though?
Because a lot of times,
what was the hesitation, though?
Addresses, people that are still living. There are people that are affected. And there could be some national security reason that that I don't have to necessarily know about. But some very good, talented people asked me not to do it. I opened it up, and then they said, would it be possible for us to do that a different day?
How much of it did you read into?
I think it's going to be just fine to open it. Let me put it that way. I think it's fine. It's going to be time. It's a cleansing. It's really a cleansing. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it immediately, almost immediately upon entering office.
Well, the thing, when people look at it from the outside and you sort of imagine what could be a reason why they would not release those files, it would be there's people that were implicated in the assassination.
Yeah. Well, when there are living people, you generally tend not to want to do it. When people are still living.
Living people that formerly work for the government.
For the government, and living people that were somehow involved in it, and you tend not to do that. But it's time to open them. I can't tell you whether or not they're going to find anything of interest. And I did partially open. I think I've opened 50%, but I was asked not to do it, and I thought that was a reasonable ask. But now I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it very soon. There's a lot of interest in it.
One of the things that
There's
I'm
a lot of interest in the people coming from space, you know.
Yes.
And I know you're. I thought that was a reasonable ask,
Listen, this now the people coming from space.
but now I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it very soon. There's a lot of interest in it.
One of the things that
There's
I'm
a lot of interest in the people coming from space, you know.
Yes.
And I know you're interested.
Oh,
in that
very
too.
interesting.
I just noticed he said people instead of like creatures or trying to describe them as something other than such. All right, than being in like what some of these whistleblowers have stated. All right, they look like 10-foot men, 10-foot quote unquote black men. All right.
In that. How much did they tell you about that?
A lot.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd they tell you? How much can you tell?
So
How's that work? Is it like super
I think
top
I
secret?
Can tell, you know.
Tell
I think,
me.
Well, based on Hunter Biden, I can say whatever the hell I
Yes.
want, right? But no. But
And I believe through Hunter Biden and Biden's, they have that non-disclosure, and that's why a lot of these truths is coming out, like with the Diddy scandal, so on and so forth, to where people who sign non-disclosures, those are somewhat void. You can come out and speak against certain things, and it could somewhat turn into civil action or criminal suits, you know. But we get to the point.
interviewed a few people. It's never been my thing, I have to be honest. I have never been a believer. I have people that Area 51 or whatever it is, I think it's the number one tourist attraction in the whole country or something. Area 51 in Las Vegas. Do you know that, right?
Sure, I know what it is.
So anyway, but it's a big tourist thing. So I interviewed jet pilots that say they saw something. If you saw them, you'd love to have them as your
I've had a
son.
couple in here. Commander David Fravor.
Yeah.
I had him in, who had that sighting in 2004. Very,
Yeah.
very compelling with video
compelling.
evidence.
And that guy, when you look it up, he pretty much had a vision that was similar to Ezekiel's vision. All right, he saw a tic tac shape, a UFO. All right, a flying roll, a cigar shaped aircraft. Right, UAP, a chariot, a cherub. One of the scriptures I want to bring out is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1. And I started at verse 4. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, right, the skies, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire, right? Because the scriptures refer to the chariots where it be a cloud by day and a fiery pillar by night. You know, that's how the scriptures compare them to, all right, and describe them, all right? And that's how we know them to appear at times, as well as when a fleet of them was to come, there would be in a certain formation, all right, a V-shaped formation. You know, ultimately knowing that they are the emergency vehicles of the Lord. All right, our ancestors, one of the good points our elder like to make is that our ancestors used to be singing, swinging low, sweet chariot, come forth to carry us home. And there wasn't a plane invented then, all right, over here in cattle slavery, all right, with yokes of iron upon our neck, you know, in the cotton fields, singing these things in Hebrew as we were the Hebrew people, and that was the language we were speaking. What were the slaves singing about? You know, what did they know about a chariot swinging low and come forth to carrying them home? All right, to Jordan. You know, when there wasn't a plane invented then, they were riled up and sold and scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, through cargo slave ships. It's back in Ezekiel 1 and 5. Also out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures, right? So out of them came the likeness of 4 living creatures, being the point. All right. And this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man, right? So they had the likeness of a man. All right, so the angels look like men. All right, they don't have no Cupid little wings and nothing like that, like what they try to create in Greek mythology. All right, it's called a mythology because it's a myth, it's a lie. You know, so that's what Ezekiel saw. This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 5 and verse 1. Then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll, right, a chariot. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I say, flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Then said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For every one that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it, and every one that sweareth shall be cut off as on this side according to it. Man, and Esau do both. All right, he stealeth. All right, buildeth a kingdom on the backs of the Lord's people. All right, the apple of the Lord's eye. All right, you know, have something now called sweat equity. All right, you know, we fill a bag with holes. All right, Esau got everything sold up when it comes to, you know, economically throughout the four corners of the earth, because he rules the world. According to Job 9 and 24, the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. So the wicked is ruling. The wicked is in this rulership right now. This is a wicked rulership. This is a wicked kingdom. All right, this is his heaven. All right, but ultimately that chariot that is spoken of, that flying roll, is the Lord's chariot is go enter into the house of the thief. All right, being Esau Edom. All right, that's how he's going out, by way of the sword. All right, he would kill him with the sword, and he shall be killed with the sword. Here's the faith and the patience of the saints, you know, roughly paraphrased. And now the Lord has had man to create to split the atom, make the atomic bomb. And the sword today was going to be what a coward's war, to where it's going to be a nuclear sword, a nuclear missile. So this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. You know, and Esau stealeth, and he sweareth, falsely. All right, so he's gonna be cut off on this side. And this verse 4, and I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, right? He's the thief. And into the house of him that swear falsely by my name, right? In God he trusts. His God is gold, oil, and dollars. And it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof, man. Right? You know, and here they study it. All right, they study it as they study war, as they study wickedness, but they can't wrap their head around it. All right, because it's something that they can't describe through their science. All right, defining gravity. All right, Joe Rogan gonna speak on the incident that happened over there on the west coast of California in 2004 with this guy that saw the tic-tac shaped cigar like Ezekiel, and how it went from 50 to 80,000 feet in the air above sea level, and it came down about 50 feet above sea level in a second. If any human being was to be in that, they have to be special. That's what they're gonna go into, you know, like you gotta be special to drive some of these and to fly some of these aircrafts. So imagine how special the Lord's elect is gonna be. All right, he's gonna beam up and call to come up hither into those chariots, into those into his barn. All right.
Evidence, radar evidence.
Ryan
Graves.
I don't believe his name, but I interviewed jet pilots that were solid people, perfect. I mean, great pilots, great everything. And they said, we saw things, sir, that were were very strange. Like a round ball, but it wasn't a comet or a meteor. It was something. And it was going 4 times faster than an F-22, which is a very fast plane, you know. And it was round, which is, in theory, a great shape.
So when you were talking to these people, was this something that you were compelled to have conversations about? Was this your personal interest?
No, a little bit. It's not a great interest for me, but it's a little interest. I get that question as much as almost any question. Do you think that we have aliens coming, flying around or whatever?
What do you think?
There's no reason not to. I mean, there's no reason not to think that Mars and all these planets don't have life, because
Mars, we've had probes there and rovers, and I don't think there's any life there.
Well, maybe it's life that we don't know, but maybe
there was life there at one point in time.
Because
Mars,
I like how Joe Rogan keeps him on he weeds out the holes when it comes to like information. Like we already know, okay, it's nobody up living up there. We got probes and stuff, so to speak. It kind of cuts the whole conspiracy thing and gets straight to the point. Like we talking about UFOs and possible Jake, man. I don't know.
Had probes there and rovers, and I don't think there's any life there.
Well, maybe it's life that we don't know, but
maybe there was life there at one point in time. This is the speculation about Mars, that Mars had an atmosphere at one point in time, a long time ago, that could support life. It also had large bodies of water, but we've had no evidence of even bacterial life that exists on Mars. But the universe is pretty vast.
It's not been a big thing for me. I mean, when I looked at what China did to this, they would have never done it with me, where they put the balloon up, and a lot of people thought for a little while that was one of these things. So,
that's a lot of the speculation too, that some of these drones that hover over battleships, that these are Chinese drones, and that they're not UFOs.
They could be also.
There's some super sophisticated.
But I did interview, let's say 3 or 4 guys and without tremendous interest, if you had them. As I said, you'd love to have them as your children. Solid, beautiful people. They said, "Sir, there's something there."
There's something there.
They've said it, yeah.
Yeah, I've talked to quite a few of them.
They're not conspiracy guys.
Well, I mean, just the Commander David Fravor thing in 2004 off the coast of San Diego, they clocked that thing going from 50,000 feet above sea level to 50 in a second.
Yeah.
They don't know what it is.
That's tough to beat.
Yeah, they saw something in the water. It was hovering over that something that was making a disturbance in the water. They got video evidence of this thing. 2 different fighter jets with pilots in them saw it. There's, visual evidence, photographic evidence, video evidence, radar evidence. Whatever the hell it is, it moves in a way that would turn a human being into jello if they were inside of it. The G-force, no one would survive.
Oh,
so what is that? And it doesn't have a heat signature. They don't know what their propulsion system was. But
when you fly in some of these jets, these pilots have to be in great shape.
Oh, yeah. I flew with the Blue Angels once.
Yeah.
I got to fly. I guess it's an FA-18.
And those are older machines.
And they're crazy.
When you fly in some of these things,
oh my God,
amazing. Yeah, but
I can imagine.
You got to be special.
Right. You have to be special. And Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai to fly out of this place, man, to fly out of this destruction. All right, to be called, to come up hither, to stand upon the sea of glass. All right, this is Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 2. All right, just going into how the angel's appearance is again. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares, right? And that's why the scripture's in there, because angels just mean messenger. All right, and you have messengers today in the flesh, all right, declaring this truth, all right, on highways and byways, giving their body as a living sacrifice, preaching to the wind, out there on the street corners, those men who's declaring this truth and declaring the names of Yahweh, while Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls God, which Yahweh means he is or he exists, the true and rightful name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai being the Son's true and rightful name, who the world ignorantly calls JC. All right. Those are angels too. Those men are angels too. All right. Sent out to be a messenger. All right. Angels and prophets. This is the book of 2 Samuel, who I like to go to this example of what the Lord did for King David. All right, and how he sent a chariot to deliver David. All right, you had Yahweh Shah himself, who was disappearing in the midst of the crowd. Right, as the scriptures say, as he left, that's how he's gonna return. This is the book of 2 Samuel chapter 22, and I'll start at verse 4. All right, and this is where we have faith. All right, and have the faith to understand that is a way out. All right, we are to deliver ourselves from this place spiritually. All right, as this is not an arrest pertaining to Micah chapter 2 and 10, Jeremiah with 50 and 1, 51, chapters 50 and chapters 51. All right, deliver yourself from this place, America, man, so you don't be partakers with its plagues, its downfall. Because we read about how the Lord is going to send that chariot in. All right, we already know what the missile's coming to do, pertaining to the Lord denuclearizing the earth, the third world's war, which is going to be a nuclear war. All right, and simultaneously, while those missiles are getting shot off, those 200,000, right, those 200 million warheads are hitting America, you're going to have the UFO, all right, the Lord's chariot enter into the house of the thief, all right, and you're going to have the chariots simultaneously put forth destruction as well while beaming up the elect, all right. This is 2 Samuel chapter 22 and verse 4. I will call on the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, who is worthy to be praised, right? That's why we pray to, Psalms 91. All right, we'll get that next. All right, knowing that what the Lord is our shadow, all right, our refuge, our hiding place from the wind representing destruction. It's back at verse 4, 2 Samuel 22 and 4. I will call on the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from my enemies, right? When the waves of death compassed me, the floods of ungodly men made me afraid, right? The sorrows of hell compassed me about. The snares of death prevented me, right? And we're in hell today, America, the land, the valley of the shadow of death, right? This is America. In my distress, I called upon the Lord and cried to my power, and he did hear my voice out of his temple. And my cry did enter into his ears, right? Like one of the angels, Raphael, all right? He deals with the prayer of the saints, all right? And go back and forth in and out to the Holy One with those prayers, all right? That's why it's important to know the name of the Heavenly Father, all right? Know what he's coming to do the things according to his will, his law, statutes, commandments to the best of our ability. Representing what these angels' characteristics as well as their duties, man. They have different duties, right? And ultimately, they're our helpmate, all right? They're our helpmate when it comes to salvation, all right? Verse 8, then the earth shook and trembled. The foundations of heaven moved and shook because he was wroth. Right, the Lord got mad, just like the earth go real to and fro like a drunkard when those missiles get shot off. And the Lord called for the deliverance of his people and the destruction of Babylon, the utter destruction of Babylon and Esau's system. Verse 9, there went up a smoke out of his nostrils and fire out of his mouth devoured. Coals were kindled by it, right? That radiated storm cloud that the Lord will stir up out of the breath of his mouth and out of his nostrils, of him being fed up with the wickedness that have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and most importantly his people. All right, the wickedness has reached the heavens, man. Verse 10, he bowed the heavens also and came down. The darkness was under his feet. And he rode upon a cherub, right? Or a cherub, and did fly, right? And he was seen upon the wings of the wind, right? That nimbus cloud, right? Like what you'll see on Dragon Ball Z and these anime movies. You know, in Hollywood and these anime, they get that imagination from what? The scriptures. The pure, the pure of the purest, you know, the foundation of life. You find that within the book, you know, the basic instructions before leaving earth, the Bible. All right, the word of the Lord. All right. So he rode upon a cherub and did fly. He was seen upon the wings of the wind. And he made darkness pavilions round about him, dark waters and thick clouds of the skies. Through the brightness before him were coals of fire kindled. The Lord thundered from heaven, and the Most High uttered his voice, and he sent out arrows and scattered them, lightning and discomfited them. And the channels of the sea appeared, the foundations of the world were discovered at the rebuking of the Lord, at the blast of the breath of his nostrils, man. All right. He sent from above. He took me, right? And that's that divine intervention right there, man. In 17, man, he sent from above. He took me. He drew me out of many waters, man. You know, that's how the elect go get beamed up from this destruction. All right, these sad perils, these lamentations, mournings, and woes that's written in the scriptures. All right, and they go stand upon that sea of glass. All right, from the Lord sending from above and taking them and drawing them from these many waters, man. Drawing them from the valley of the shadow of death. Verse 18, he delivered me from my strong enemy and from them that hated me, for they were too strong for me. Right, the Lord know this devil has conjured up an evil plan. All right, even pertaining to Revelations 12, speaking on the war in heaven. All right, Revelations 12 and 7. All right, how this devil is getting ready to fight the angels and the Lord in his coming. All right, due to his technology and his science and him ruling the earth in wickedness. All right, but the Lord is going to hew him down. All right. So, hey, they're too strong for us in the fleshly sense. This dude, Esau Edom, is the king in the flesh, man. But the Lord is getting ready to be done away with this fleshly way. It's verse 19. They prevented me in the day of my calamity, but the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua was my stay. He brought me forth also into a large place. He delivered me because he delighted in me. Right, that large place is going to be the kingdom. And just like it states in the Apocrypha, how could we enter that wide and that beautiful without going through the straight and the narrow, the straits of affliction, right? And straightness and the narrow, right? You can't enter the broad without going through the affliction of the Lord, without going through the suffering, without understanding and being remorseful and returning back to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua for drawing away from his law, statute, commandments, drawing away from the way. All right. So it's verse 21. The Lord rewarded me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanliness of my hands, hath he recompensed me. Right. That's why 2/3 of our people, they're gonna be left out there. All right, to be destroyed and given a portion of the unbelievers, man, because they're not gonna repent. They're not gonna be remorseful. All right. You know, they have no cleanliness of their hands, man. You know, they're going to be at fault for their evil and wicked doing because they don't call upon Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, all right, and for the remission of sins, man, to wipe their slate clean, to get right, to get on his good side before it's too late, all right. So again, a UFO, you got to be special to get up in one of those, man. You got to be acknowledged by Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua in order to get acknowledged. You have to acknowledge him. Or you go say he have not known you in that day. You have to do the things pleasing unto him, and ultimately your name have to be written in the book. All right, doing his will. All right, but hey, the Lord sent from above. He took David, so David was special. All right, he got beamed up. You know, the elect has to be special. being that the remnant he's gonna save, from the said perils. He's go beam them up just like he did David in that said fashion, man. He's gonna sent from above. He's gonna take them from these drawing and these living waters, man. These dreadful waters of hell, of America, the valley of the shadow of death. This is Revelations chapter 11. And verse 11. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, entered into them. And that's what has entered into the apostles and elders, all right, by way of Abba Bivens, all right, from 1619 or 1620 of us coming over here in slavery and bondage, all the way up to 1969 or 1970, to where you had the civil rights movement. You had a lot of confusion going on, but the Lord had the hearts being turned back unto him by way of Abba Bivens and the commandment keepers, right? John the Baptist is spoken of in Malachi, to where we have this truth today. We can declare a tribe, all right? I'm possible Southern Kingdom, I'm possible Northern Kingdom, I'm possible Judah, I'm possible Levi, so on and so forth, in order to call yourself an Israelite today, all right? The Lord returned our hearts back to the Father by way of Abba Bivens, John the Baptist, Elijah, to where what the spirit of life entered into us, all right, the valley of the dry bones. And they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them, right, these elites, as the scriptures say that this truth is go enter into the gates of the nobles. All right, so they see it. All right, we're standing upon our feet, a great exceeding army. All right, again, Ezekiel 37, the valley of the dry bones. All right, declaring our Heavenly Father, the Lord's work, and what he's coming to do on the enemy's soil. Verse 12, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, right? And their enemies beheld them, man. They descended up in the cloud, man, in the chariot. This is Psalms 91. And verse 1. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty, right? I will say of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, he is my refuge and my fortress, my power, in him will I trust. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler, right? A snare is a trap. Fowler is a trap setter, being Esau Edom, and that's all he does, try to lay snares and traps and gins for our people. A way to catch them up to where the Lord can't save them. All right, giving them a false name of the Lord, or telling them he got many names. You can call him anything. You can call him Jebus, which Jebus is the name that they gave you through slavery. The letter J didn't exist when the Lord was on the scene, so that couldn't have been his name. His name is Yahushua, right? He delivers, because that's what he's coming to do, deliver us out of this captivity that we in, right? We the only people that need deliverance. Right? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you so-called minority here in this society. But this is verse 3 in Psalms 91 and 3. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence, right? He shall cover thee with his feathers, right? And under his wings shalt thou trust, right? So under his wings shall thou trust, and he's gonna cover thee with his feathers, man. That's the chariots and the angels. And under his wings shall thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler, right? Isaiah 33 and 6, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that fleeth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked, because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation, right? So the Lord's going to protect you from all these said perils, man, and the pestilences that's written, the lamentations, mournings, and woe. All right. Divine intervention, he'll send out on your behalf, like he did David, right? To things not go come, dangers not go come nigh thy dwelling, right? There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. Verse 11, for he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone, right? Just like the angel Raphael, the angel that go in and out of the Holy One with the prayers of the saints. He was sent to Tobit's son Tobias on his journey to provide that same refuge, that protection, that hedge around him, to where no torment came not near his dwelling. All right. To where he wasn't able to dash his foot up against a stone. All right. Verse 13, thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under feet. Right. Because he have set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he have known my name. And these are the last two verses. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation, man. So the Lord has a way out. All right. It's whether you go believe or not. The 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 9. The Lord knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptation, and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished. Right? And that's why he has Esau full of pride, thinking he knows everything. All right? Trying to tell you that by way of his science, which is falsely so-called, trying to tell you that they're aliens, everything that they're not, because he's really in fear of what they're getting ready to do. All right, because this devil is wiser than Daniel. Without this wisdom, he wouldn't have been able to get the riches in his treasures. All right, that's why he has wisdom of the left hand side. To where he don't know that the so-called aliens are the angels of the Lord. All right, more Israelites, more ancestors he done did wrong by. But yeah, Trump and Joe Rogan hint at UFOs, and how you gotta be special to even be in aircrafts like that defy gravity. I just took it as something spiritual, twofold. Yeah, because you have to be in shape in a physical sense to fly a jet, but you have to be upright in the spiritual sense, and in shape, so to speak, in a righteous sense, in the spiritual sense, to get in one via Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Shalom, Habathan, DTA, until the next one.